Welcome everyone to the BlooHoops Podcast. I am your host, Eddy Chavez. Over there, across the sea of sand, is none other than my homie, Osvaldo Macias. Ozzy, say what's up.
Thanks for having me, Eddy. Good to be back.
Over there, across, well, he's in the LBC, I'll tell you that much. My homie, Diego. Diego, say what's up.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
And then last but not least, the master of disaster, Mr.X himself, the Drizzle, a.k.a. my homie Jay. Jay, where you at?
What it do, bitches? I'm also on Long Beach.
So, welcome everyone again to the BlooHoops Podcast. This is episode... Gosh,
This is the reboot, so it's episode 1 again.
This is the remastered version of our podcast, I guess. Or as
Side story.
as we like to call it, the quarantine special, the quarantine riot / end of the world special, because so much stuff has been going on. I don't even know where to begin, guys.
We fucked y'all.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a couple weeks, hell of a couple months. So just so we're clear, we have not done one of these episodes in quite a while. I want to say this is the first time me and Ozzy have done it in like 2 years or so. But it felt like right now was the perfect time to go ahead and get started. And I figured, you know what, let's go ahead and do an episode. And let me bring my good friends Diego and Johnny into the mix because, man, you guys, so much stuff has been going on. I don't even know what to say. I wanted to start off this podcast in a sort of good-natured, warm-hearted sort of tone, but I mean, we're in a situation where I don't even know if we can do that. But we'll try our best to do so. With that being said, the first thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I know we haven't done this, we've talked about it on a personal level, but I wanted to bring up just the recent events that have been going on. Evidently, we've been going through a lot of stuff. The COVID-19 crisis, quarantining, BLM, police riots, etc., etc.
Sure.
It's a lot, and yeah, man, it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in. But with that being said, before we even begin talking about such topics, how have you guys been? How have you guys been handling all this?
It's been interesting, surprisingly in a weird way, because for me, like I really had to distance myself from social media for a while because there's a lot of mixed information on this whole thing. And I felt like it was oversaturating me. So I really just had to disconnect for a little bit. And then once I came back, that's when I felt like it got to a point where like everyone just had to kind of speak up about their situation. Me being a Hispanic person, of course, I do not know like what the Black community goes through, but like I totally was on board in supporting them in whatever ways we could. And so it was an emotional roller coaster per se. And so for me, that was my experience. I don't know how you guys were emotionally going through with the situation, with the unraveling of all the events that have happened, because it's been an extensive time. So many riots. It's still going on right now.
Yeah,
It's not going to end anytime soon.
I just checked online. I was on Twitter recently, and yeah, they're apparently having riots right now in D.C. and in Philadelphia. And I'm just like, this isn't some. I honestly assumed it was over, but it looks like it's still something that's going on. With that being said, I mean that's just touching like one piece of the whole pie, I guess, because this riot thing is this whole thing that's going on with the riots and BLM movement is recent, but again we're barely coming off of quarantine, like we're
Yeah.
that's not even over yet. Like it's a lot to take in.
2020 just needs to leave. Like, can we just can we make 2021 the new 2020? Let's just cut this year out.
Start over. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
been
I
nuts.
mean, on optimistic note, though, this is not going to end anytime soon, at least the movement. And I think it's pushing towards progress, which I'm really happy for, because now, like, this movement just keeps getting more momentum. It's not going to slow down anytime soon. And you've been seeing it around the country, from just say the LAPD, where they got like $150 million defunded, or just taken out
I
from
heard
the
about
budget,
that. Yeah.
given to BLM communities. So that's something to start off with. You're also getting kind of like a removing of the curtain, per se, of a lot of the truth that goes on with police brutality. So it's, I mean, depending where you stand on the situation, but like, I think no matter what, like, just you just have to realize that we need equality for everyone. Doesn't matter the color of your skin.
Right. And I'm with you on everything you just said. So me personally, I never knew how deeply funded the police were. My assumption was that of course they're funded, but just seeing the videos of the protests happening, I had no idea that they were like suited up like fucking Captain America over here with you know, shields and I mean, you know, just like up to like gear to the bone. Like they look like they're out there heading for war. Like
Yeah.
My assumption was that you guys ever crap. What are the you guys know those costumes that you buy for police officers at the like Party City?
Yeah.
In Halloween? I thought it was just that. You know, just a baton here, a whistle here, and
But it's
But
insane,
no.
like stuff like that, right? Like they even compare the attire for someone who's in the intensive care for COVID patients and comparison to a police officer.
Yeah.
And the cost is just overwhelmingly different.
and
Like,
and that's like
whoa.
sad. You know, I've heard the argument of people saying like, oh yeah, why do athletes get paid more or than doctors or whatever? Not really. I guess somewhat similar situation, but not exactly. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that in a similar sense, why are we paying more for police officers and not healthcare workers?
Yeah, seriously.
This is one of those things. If you model a person on it, it'll be like some fucking guy with a big ass like right arm, and that's like fucking policing, and then a little ass like atrophied arm, and that's like that's like the medical healthcare, education, all that fucking money that doesn't go there, all gets siphoned off to the police budgets. I didn't even know how bad it was. Like I saw, I'm like, what the hell? But it makes sense why across the country, all local governments are scared of pissing off the police union. Look what happened to CC Iglesias here in Santa Ana. She actually lost. She's a Republican Trump supporter, but she lost because she blocked fucking
Went against the police or something.
Yeah.
a raise for the cops, and the cops usually go with the Republicans, but since it's mostly Democrats here, they're gonna go with whoever is the winner. But remember Jose Solorio? Remember our teacher's husband was a assembly congressman, whatever, and he had to fucking bend over for the cops union too, because it's one of those things where no one wants to say, oh, we don't want to go against the cops or whatever.
Right.
That's 100% true.
I saw a tweet that said, for a country that sure hates unions, it's surprising why they're so behind the police one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I know,
never
right?
hear the Republicans go against the police unions. They hate the teachers unions, but they fucking
Yeah. I had no
It's
clue about that.
ridiculous, right? It's just because of the overwhelming power they have, and like they can't stop them. It's like this fucking insane, crazy, fast train that no one can stop. The teacher train's like a little cart you can just kind of get in the way and like, okay, cool.
But
This is the first time I'm hearing about like the funding for like police or whatever. I've heard about like military spending. That's outrageous, right?
yeah,
But I never heard about I had never heard about I always assume like everything's underfunded. Like I always assume anything like city related, like cops, teachers, everything. I assume everything's underfunded, right?
That's true. That is true. Yeah, that's just an assumption that you make, right? Because you hear things like, oh, we need to pay more in taxes, we need to pay more in things like that. So you assume everything's not as funded as.
This is one of those things. I find Eddy's point of view interesting because he's like more of a regular person, I would say. I'm like too dialed into politics, so I kind of knew some of this stuff already. I took but I think it's really interesting that it's becoming apparent more to like
everyone,
the rest of America. Like, because people were like, "What the fuck?" You saw that they cracked open that fucking old man's head, like nothing.
Yeah, I saw that.
Messed up.
They're doing that
Yeah.
shit like fucking old people that are like their foundation, their base of voters. They don't give a fuck about you. What makes them think young men of color like us are gonna be fucking given any more leeway than those people?
Exactly.
And like
we're like worse than scum to them, and scum are like their own people are scum to them.
and like how much? What more evidence do you need to see to, to understand that this is the? Oh, by the way, that guy that old guy that they tripped or that they pushed. So I guess the police department reported on it or released an official statement, and they mentioned that he tripped and fell.
Oh yeah, they lied.
Yeah.
When there's like a clear video of them just pushing the guy, and I'm just like, good, and they're defending that when there's video present. So imagine the things that they're not saying when there isn't video present.
They get away with it all. It's ridiculous.
No, just think about all those stories about the people who were in custody and then they shot themselves in the back of the head while they were fucking handcuffed in the back of a police car. What really happened?
Yeah.
We all know. We all fucking know. But all of us, the voters in general, we just stood by and we're like, we didn't want to pretend that was happening. But lots of people knew it was happening. But no one wanted to listen. Look at Rage Against the Machine. Their song it's from 1990, Killing the Name of, about how the cops are fucking KKK. People have known about it even before them, but that's a problem. It's been, just imagine how worse it was back then without cameras, phone cameras, and
yeah,
the 70s and the 60s when they were no wonder these people fucking were pissed. If you think they don't give society doesn't give a shit about you, you're going to destroy everything. Huh?
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, John, it's just right now, like, just continuous amount of evidence just piling it up, and you're seeing it, like, you're seeing it unfold, like so many videos now where it shows just police at their worst, and like, you don't want to believe it, right? Because these guys are supposed to be protecting and serve, but I mean, at one point, do you say like it's enough's enough,
I think without the virus, there wouldn't be riots because people are like they're inside, they're tired, there's nothing. Like, even when they reopen, there's jobs that are never gonna come back. Even the places that reopen, so there's people with free time. That's what happens. Like revolutions happen and like unrest happens when people have a lot of free time when they're not working. You have to keep them occupied.
When they have less to lose, so it's like
they don't give a fuck anymore. Especially a lot of people in our country, they see their job is like their identity. So there's a bunch of people who like don't have an identity anymore. They're angry.
Jumping on that whole identity thing. This is kind of semi-related, but not really 100% related. But I just want to throw this in there because it happened. I was driving home from work recently, and I've had this scenario happen. And I see this guy in a pickup truck. First of all, if you drive a pickup truck in California, you're full of shit. Like no sane individual drives a pickup truck in California. That's my 2 cents right there. But no. What I wanted to get to is that I saw this guy in a pickup truck, and he had like I want to say like 5 or 6 Trump for president stickers. Which again, whatever, man. Whatever, his mind's made up. That's not the point. The point that I'm trying to make is that jumping on the whole identity thing, me personally, I feel like if your identity is completely tied to this fucking guy or just the US, like, get a fucking hobby, man. Because like why would you tie yourself to you're in? No, I'm not saying like just a part. I'm saying like your entire identity just to being this guy's like loyal follower. It's like a kid being fascinated by like a music idol or something, which is, again, it's okay, but it's a little far-fetched, don't you guys think?
I mean, I believe that you can take qualities from a person and be like, okay, like I like this, I like that, but no one's perfect, so there's going to be flaws with each individual. So why would you take the whole thing and justify the bad? Like, that's what I don't get. Like, I call out people even within the group that I agree with, and will still call them out on certain things I don't like or I don't see fit.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and just find ways to justify every little thing. Like, it's so hypocritical to do something like that.
I actually wondered this myself, and I did research, and like pretty much what I came up with is like he's like a stand-in for like white people, their identity and shit. Because that's what that fucking Nazi guy Richard Spencer was saying. He's like, it's not about Trump, it's about like a symbol for our people. Like, for some reason, I still can't figure out exactly what that reason is, but for some reason, it's like it created a perfect storm where people just saw like, you know,
It empowered a lot
like,
of people.
yeah, you know how we have like a Mexican identity, which is kind of common.
Yeah.
Like that kind of almost created that for white people. He kind of
Yeah.
created that for white people, sort of, but in a really what's it called, commercialized, marketed way.
Yeah, yeah.
They're so fried. They think like that it worked on them. It's like it was marketing. It's pretty much marketing that has been going on for 30 years with his fucking Apprentice shit and his appearances on Home Alone, and people just bought it. But people, it turned it into like a weird, you know, white identity thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why people don't.
I remember at one point he was like a positive image.
Yeah.
I remember when he was a positive image, like he was a symbol of
Business.
the American way.
Yeah.
Like,
That was all of a thought, by the way. But yes, like it was like people
knew
like
also
the Trump logo.
That's the American dream, to be rich and a billionaire or whatever, you know.
Right.
And it's crazy
right.
how much that has. I think him becoming a politician has really exposed, I think, who he really is. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, like the fraudulent nature of his character too. Like from all the, like he's like a mobster trying to like get information or
Yeah.
not giving money to a certain country because they're not they need to do something before they get it. It's ridiculous.
People knew apparently in New York, like that's why he tried so hard to be liked by the rest of like the New York high society, but they saw him as like literally like white trash because his grandpa was like a fucking KKK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just got rich being like early land buyers in Manhattan, which you know if you bought land at the right time, anyone would have gotten rich. So, right, I think and his like dad or his grandpa owned like fucking brothels in like Canada and shit.
Dude. But Johnny, he only got a $1 million loan. That's how he started his whole empire, which is not true, by the way. Like
that's why people are willing to like forgive all that shit because they don't give a shit about that hate. Because he was they thought of him as a symbol more important, even though if they couldn't articulate that.
Right.
That's what like the more intellectual Nazis were saying,
Yeah.
but now it backfired because now everyone thinks he's just a fucking retard. So.
I've heard the argument that supposedly he does these things on purpose, and the reason being is because it gets people to talk about him. So him acting dumb or saying certain things or tweeting a certain way, making spelling mistakes, that is done on purpose to get more people to talk about him. And I'm just like, what? Like, I find that really, really hard to believe because
I don't think it's true.
Like,
I think people give him too much credit.
Exactly. This isn't some fucking mastermind or anything.
It's crazy how we do that. We tend to like over creditify people just like without understanding the nature that like he's just making these, like the way he speaks, everything, like you can just tell, but he just gets lucky that the fact with his personality and his ignorance and idiocracy, how this has led him to gain so much attention.
Right. Yeah, man, it's just he's full of shit. With that being said, I wanted to sort of jump the gun here. Again, we're not forgetting about our other discussions, but jumping on from the whole Trump to the whole the election that's coming up in November. So I wanted to bring this up because me and Ozzy had an episode about 3 years ago where we discussed the election briefly. Now we're not gonna jump the gun and discuss it entirely, but let's talk about some of those different discussions that are happening around the election. So evidently, Bernie and Elizabeth Warren are out. I voted for Bernie. I wanted Bernie to win. Fortunately, he didn't make it. So now we have Biden going up against Trump in the election in November. With that being said, I wanted to get you guys' perspective on the election that's upcoming. Before you guys go on, though, I just want to say that for me, it's the whatchamacallit, the choice between Trump and Biden. It's as evident as it's clear cut for me. For me, it's just Biden. There's just I don't care I really don't care what the discussion is. I'm like, I've seen enough of Trump to know what he's like, to know what he does, to know what he says. I've seen enough. Like, fuck that guy. I've had enough of this shit. And to me, Biden is not by any means perfect. Like not even close. Again, I voted for Bernie, but in comparison to Trump, I'll vote for Biden fucking 10 more times if I have to. Just because, to me, it's that evident. Like, you either vote for this fucking guy who almost had the country in ruins, or you give this other guy, Biden, a chance. Again, I'm not saying he's perfect, but he's fucking 10 times better than what Trump is. With that being said, what do you guys think about the whole election?
I mean, I guess I'll say I'm not excited about either candidate, right? Mostly because I'm not a huge. I don't follow politics a lot. I don't really care overall, but I mean, Biden cannot be any worse than Trump. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see myself ever voting for Trump. So for me, it's gotta be Biden, and you guys don't have to say who you're gonna vote for. But for me, yeah, it's the same as Eddie. It's pretty obvious that if I vote, it's gonna be for Biden.
I mean, me, I was rooting for John Delaney. No, I'm kidding.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh,
What the fuck is that?
no, that's the joke.
It was like that white guy with the suit that no one cared about at the beginning. Fucking bald guy.
You guys thought I was being for real.
Fucking Tim Kaine, whatever.
Oh my god, right? I'm really curious as to who Biden is going to choose as his VP. But I regress. I was going for Bernie from the get-go, and like I love Bernie. Like, honestly, especially in these times, like, he would have been the best candidate.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we live in reality where here we have these two options, and yes, like you said, Eddie, like Biden isn't perfect at all, and there's a lot of things I do not like about him. But when you just look at the two of them, you see Trump and you see Biden. Like, there's just a whole level difference in how Trump is. Like, he's just the most selfish, egotistical maniac. Like, it's how is he in the office?
Yes.
That's something I still don't get. I mean, I do see how it culminated, but I don't agree with it. And so Biden will not get anywhere near that level, which is why, like, it's so clear. Like, I understand there's the never Trumpers, and then there's also like the never Biden or whatever, people who are just like Bernie or bust. And it sucks because, like, I understand, I see their points of views, but at these moments, like, Bernie is not the candidate. Like, if you don't vote for Biden, that just means more leverage for Trump. So right. I understand it's a lose-lose situation, but at these moments, I feel like Biden is the only choice that will not get us killed or into another fucking war or anything of the nature that we're going through right now.
Jumping on that, I think Johnny mentioned something funny the other day. I saw a tweet from him and it said, "Man, don't you miss the good old days when all you had to do was wake up and not worry it was gonna be World War III again?" Just like oh.
I feel like we're making a bunch of enemies with Trump in office. Like, people that were allies, I feel like are like Canada's like iffy about us, Germany's iffy about us. It's like
I'm gonna bring a different take and say that I'm actually, like, let me see, cautiously optimistic, excited about a possible Biden presidency. I didn't vote for him. I actually said at the beginning of, like, this primary, I'm like, please don't make me campaign for this fucker.
Yeah.
but if you look at the polling from before and after, like, he won before the primaries and, like, ended up being true. And apparently, like, I do a lot of reading, but I looked into, like, the underlying numbers, and he's doing pretty well, I guess, compared to, like, he has, like, old people on lock apparently, and that's, like, the fucking demographic, like, you need. If you have them on lock, you're gonna win.
Right.
Wasn't Clinton doing well though in the polls? She got slaughtered.
But the polls were actually like within the margin of error. Like I think 538 is the one I look at, which is a bunch of stats guys, and they gave Trump like a 33% chance. That's a 1 in 3 chance. That's not a small chance. But he won on a very thin margins, and I think Biden right now is like beating Trump by like almost 10%. That's like almost not even close. Like he'll fucking destroy. Like I think it's gonna be possible that. I think the story that everyone took away from 2016 is gonna be completely like wrong too. Where I think it was more anti-Hillary because I voted for Bernie twice, but both times actually like I remember talking with Diego because we would like debate because I thought overall I still thought Hillary was like the stronger candidate, but I voted for Bernie twice, and I thought Warren is actually the better candidate, but I think she could win honestly. A woman can't win for a while in the United States.
I know, and I mean that's just unfortunate, but
the reality of it.
Yeah, that's just the reality of it.
But I think Biden actually has some decent like stances on stuff, and I'm more excited about the people he's gonna bring. He's not gonna put in like evil retards like.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about like the people he surrounds himself with.
Like he starts bringing. Well, he's already bringing Bernie people, which has me excited. Like he's bringing them to form policy, joint policy task force team or whatever. Biden, what he should really do is just say he's gonna legalize weed day one, and he'll win. Like I don't know why that confuses me.
So jumping on that, what do you guys think about his whole dementia argument? Because there's videos of him where he's talking, and let's say the words that he's trying to say aren't coming out.
I actually have a lot to say on, but I think it's a astroturf. You guys know what an astroturf is? It's like a marketing thing. Like people just took out of context like clips and just played them over and over, and if you play that over, like it's that same thing I talk about. It's FaceTime,
right?
But the FaceTime, if more people have FaceTime with those fake dementia videos of Joe Biden, that's all they're gonna take away from it. But if the polling, it only affected people under 45, which makes me think social media only really like under 45 it trails off. So, but we're actually people our age. I'm actually starting to conclude that we're more at risk for our minds being fucked than old people are. Old people just have like a couple of vectors. They just watch ABC News and Facebook. That's it. But we have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have all these online news sources, everything, Reddit. Like it's so much easier to manipulate stuff. If you on Reddit, you just need like 30 people to kick something up to the front of the page. So you can mold people's opinions on what is even popular.
Or pay someone to, someone who's trustworthy.
That's what happened because with Biden, because if you look at his like debates with Bernie, he stood on the stage with Bernie for like an hour and a half, and nothing. He didn't like stroke out or whatever.
Right.
Or,
that's a good point.
He has. I don't watch him, but he has like streams from his house like daily, like for hours, and podcasts that he's on. He's like doing stuff like this for hours at a time. You can't be doing that. Like even Andrew Yang, I think he said like you can't be doing stuff like that and not have a sharp mind. Like you have to be on. He's clearly like slower than he used to be, but
right.
He's a fucking almost 8-year-old man who isn't gonna be. I'll still take him over Trump. Like I'll still take his mind over Trump's. Like
don't you think in the debates Trump is gonna murder?
No, I don't think
Biden.
So. Biden's been actually.
I mean,
really
Trump is a good debater.
No, I don't think so.
No, he's an idiot. But
I don't think he's a good debater.
No,
what happened in Clinton? He just used a stupid thing.
No, Clinton destroyed him, and no one cared because part of it's because he's a man and woman, but also no one watches. No one's debate. No one's minds are changed by debates. But I think he's gonna puss out. He's not gonna want to do it because he knows he can't. And Biden, he does some weird fighty thing that old people like, where he starts wanting to fight people. But Trump, he's gonna puss out from that. So bad, it's gonna look so like I'll pay to see that.
And I think that jumping on that, I think like Trump like had his way with like in a debate against Hillary because I guess he must have seen her like as like in a lesser pillar, I guess in a smaller pillar. I don't think he sees Biden the same way. Biden,
he's a bully that picks on weaker people. He doesn't.
What's that nickname he gave Biden?
Sleepy Joe. So dumb. And Trump like tries so hard to stick with those damn nicknames just to get him going. I'm like, oh my god.
People think he's like some kind of like I remember on Joe Rogan, like Joe Rogan considers him that he's like some murderer comedian, that he's always destroying people, but he's not.
He's not. He's just...
It only works on retarded people, and people keep repeating that like myth. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's more marketing, like origin story bullshit. Like he doesn't like with Hillary, at least he lost. If you look at the debates, he lost. But
And Biden has so much like ammo. I mean, just with the COVID stuff and the BLM,
Yeah.
it's like he
That's
has
a
so
good
much
point.
to go up against.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna even let that. Trump's team won't let that. Like I heard they're already like denying requests to do that, and they're gonna say
To
it's
do
like
what?
because of virus shit to do debates.
Oh, really?
Like yeah, they're not gonna. Do
I was
that.
wondering about that. I'm like, wait, are they going to have
Yeah,
any
what's up?
debates? Because like the way it goes or seems, it's like Trump's just going to opt out of everything. But I'm like, wait, is there certain legal binding where like
Yeah.
he cannot opt out of
Yeah.
like at least one debate?
Remember when he tried to say, "Oh yeah, I'll do a debate with Bernie" after Bernie lost the last time, and then he pushed out about it. You
Yeah.
remember that shit? I was like, "Oh yeah, he'll debate Bernie," but he never fucking did that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it seems like legally he would have to. I mean, it's the fucking presidential debate.
Yeah.
Those are
guys-
private things. There's no like, he doesn't have to.
He might want to though. I don't know.
It's
I
not by
mean,
CNN and shit. Like
it's like
there's no like official thing that or law or mandate or tradition. It's more of a tradition. He breaks so many traditions. He doesn't even have press conferences. So I really doubt he's gonna be embarrassed by not having a debate.
Right.
He canceled the correspondence dinner thing too, didn't
oh
he?
god, yeah.
Because he was a
Yeah.
little about it. So he's
Wow,
not
that's
gonna,
ridiculous.
he's not gonna let that happen. That's why I'm like, I don't believe this shit about him being like this like master.
No,
like,
I don't
a
agree with it
comedian or
either.
something.
Yeah.
A
It's-
roaster or something. Like he it's all like crafted, I think.
No, yeah, definitely. I'm sure like in his team, they want him to be minimally exposed to
Yeah.
the media because, I mean,
That's why he's in his bunker right now. not-
yeah. Oh my God, no. But Johnny,
Ah,
he only
man.
went in there to inspect it.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm gonna go check that shit out. Just, gosh darn it.
reminds me of Skinner when he was like, "I was just looking for directions on how to get away from it."
Oh my goodness. It's a lot. With that being said, we're gonna go on a quick break right now, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, and we're back again, but with our quarantine special, aka the riot special, aka the end of the world special. And now that we got sort of the serious stuff out of the way, let's talk about some more lighthearted stuff, semi-lighthearted stuff, because the topic that I want to talk about is so evidently we've all been quarantining, being stuck at home because. Well, I mean, I do that anyways, but the point is that everyone's quarantining now, and everyone's stuck at home, and I wanted to sort of discuss with you guys, what is it, what are some things that you guys have been doing at home, to just keep sane through all this, have some sort of like, normalcy going throughout your day by day. Before I ask you guys specifically what it is that you guys are doing, I'll bring up mine real quick. So I've been playing lots of games. I have a huge collection of games that I haven't played in like. It's a long list of games. So one of the things that's been keeping me sane is just playing a ton of video games, man, and it's been great. Like, so as I know, understandably, it's a nice time to like watch movies, things like that. But what have you guys been up to?
So, before I jump into what I've been doing, I think the emotional and mental sanity have definitely like, at least for me, because like I'm more of an extroverted person, and I just like my fix of socializing with like physical people is always a need, and without that, it's just like driving me nuts. So it's been tough just trying to find ways to either mitigate the issue or like find substitutes for it. Because like online conversations are good, but it still doesn't like hit that spot, if you know what I mean. But
that's one way of putting it.
But I think talking to friends through online, like, because even texting is different than video messaging people. So
Yeah.
at least this has been like a really good alternative. What else? Work, because I get the fortune of working from home. So that has been helpful because just being busy with work helps me not think about like the depression and any of that stuff that goes through my mind from like being isolated. And then lastly, I don't really have any good consoles, so I I can't relate.
Shame on
If
you.
I did, I'm
Shame on
probably
you,
like
dude.
freaking playing that Pac-Man or whatever the kids play today. No, I'm kidding. But I've been binge watching like a bunch of anime now. Just like it's a really good escape.
Can't believe you.
I see your
Which
approval.
ones?
The one thing you're doing, he was watching anime. I just can't believe it.
I've been watching, to Ozzy's question. It was on Netflix. It's called The Seven Deadly Sins. Like
Oh, I've heard
I've
of
just
it.
been going through the whole thing. It's the 4th or 3rd season. I don't know what season it is that I'm at right now, but there's a lot of episodes. It keeps me just distracted, and it like boosts morale a little bit in my mind. So
Right.
Yeah. Those
What have you-
comfort shows.
What have you been doing, Ozzy?
For me, I mean, working from home basically. So that's actually been like a welcome change out of all this, if there's anything good. So just working from home has been good. But I would say just leaving the house, just going out for a walk is actually really good for the mind, I guess.
Yep.
I go out for like maybe 30 minutes a day or every other day. What else? Reading. Been reading a lot of books recently. Same thing as Diego, binge watching, TV shows, movies, binge watching X-Files right now.
Oh,
Fucking love that show. But what else? I mean, that's pretty much it for me.
Right. Jay?
Pretty much the same thing as the other guys. I'm not doing that much different besides reading a lot.
What do you guys miss the most?
oh, I miss being in a different environment. I think like what you mentioned about going outside is definitely super important, because like it does help kind of like give you a sense of happiness, at least for me.
Yeah.
And so that added to the picture, like just the environment is so important. So what I miss the most is just being in a different location with people. Like I don't even care where it's at, just being somewhere that's not like here with people. Like I didn't realize how much the place adds on to the vibe and like to my happiness. So I miss that a lot.
It never occurred to me how sort of vital, at least for me personally, it was to like go out to like a restaurant. Like
Yeah.
like I always thought of it as a sort of Passover thing, like something I don't even think about. Like I never thought of it as important, but I'm like, man, I would love to just go to like even a freaking Sizzler or IHOP or whatever and just chill there for a bit, like pop up in the news, read a book or something, listen to some music. Oh my goodness. And
That's a really good point.
Go to
and
a bar.
yeah, or just something. So it's just something to change the atmosphere, like they was to change the environment, and that's one of the things that I missed.
It's interesting. I agree completely. Like I didn't realize how much of an impact going out to eat, like how that played such a huge role. Like I used to just think it was something like you mentioned, like, oh, just to go. But
Yeah,
now
yeah.
I'm like, man, like it was so important to at least my well-being.
And not just that, but also like inviting friends and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you can't even say like, "Hey Ozzy, let's go, man, let's go kick it," or
Yeah.
you can't.
Because
You're stuck at
eating
home.
is like part of it. The other part is the socializing the connection that you get with the people that you're eating with.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't do that at home, depending on who you're living with or who you're with, et cetera, et cetera. You could be like, maybe you just want to have a personal talk with someone else, but you can't because maybe at your home there's another family member or, or kids or things like that, and so that's one of the things. I also miss sports.
Oh yeah.
God, I miss sports so much. Like.
Did you hear they're starting? Maybe this is the wrong place to say it in this topic, but
I mean, it's only called BlooHoops.
Oh, that's true. Oh, the NBA is back. I'm so excited about that, dude. I think it's coming.
I guess we
back
can
in
jump into that topic
July.
now.
But for sports, I've been watching German soccer.
What?
Ooh.
What's wrong with you?
It
Why?
already came back on?
Yeah, I came back like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. So I've been watching German soccer, but I'm really excited to watch.
Is that like
watching
a
basketball again?
Is that like a bizarro version of real soccer?
You mean
It's like
football?
No, it's like the second or third best league in the world. so
Yeah,
it's been really
that's what I was thinking. It's like the legit version. If the bizarro was probably the freaking MLS, if anything.
yeah.
Jay, you have anything you want to add?
What do you miss the most, Jay?
Wait, what?
Oh wait,
Were
Jay's
we
out of
talking
it.
about sports now?
Yeah, I thought we were talking about sports now. No, I don't watch.
Wait.
But have you guys? I don't know. I think a big thing is people have been just rewatching old things and also documentaries on sports stuff, like the Michael Jordan one. Have you guys
Yeah,
been watching that?
I
That's
saw the first 6 episodes. It's really good. I still have to
yeah.
finish it.
it's okay. I think it's alright.
mean-
It's
Really?
alright.
I thought it was really good.
Fight. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's really interesting. But you know, the sport that I don't think has gone out has been the WWE. Apparently, they're essential.
If you can call it a sport, yeah.
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 All right. Jumping
AEW.
on that, Diego. So, related to the sports, to the whole what we've been doing. So, I have not been watching anime, unfortunately. I love anime too, but I just there's just nothing really catching my eye. But I have been watching a lot of AEW wrestling. A lot of it. It's amazing, Diego.
Yeah.
They had a stadium, a match in the stadium. It was fucking hilarious. It was great.
I
Stadium.
saw that. I mean, I saw clips of it. I think maybe you sent them to me. I don't know, but
I just want to bring this up because it was fucking hilarious. Did you see that? I sent Diego a video of Matt Hardy when he's being drowned. Did you see that video?
yeah, I saw that. That was funny.
Did you see when they drown him and then they bring him back up? What happens to his attire?
Oh wait, no, I don't. Wait, what happened to the?
So,
Did I not pay attention to that?
Yeah, so they drown him and they bring him back up, and so his whole shtick is the broken Matt Hardy segment. So they drown him, and then when they lift him back up, he's a Matt Hardy version 1.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention to that.
So that was the whole thing, is that he comes back like it's a different character.
Yeah.
And then they drown him again. And then they lift him up again, and they have his old show. What's it called? The Matt Facts from WWE.
Oh my
So just
God.
something like that. It was just so hilarious.
It's so funny how they.
But it's just he goes back in time. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
But
But that's why you have to love AEW, like their creativity and
that's
how they
right.
try to connect with old viewers of wrestling and new ones, and
right.
how they give it a little twist.
But yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and take one last break, and we'll come back for our last segment. Welcome back, everyone, to the last segment of the BlooHoops Podcast. This is the Quarantine Special, aka the Riot Special, and the End of the World Special. Now that we've gone through a couple topics, we're going to discuss a couple of things. Really quick, so it's rare that we have the 4 of us here. Normally, it's just me and Ozzy. Granted, we're both horrible at it, but we try our best. But right now, we have all 4 of us. So I thought it'd be a great idea to kind of like share a little bit about what each of us know. Now, all 4 of us have a sort of level of expertise in some sort of field, topic, interest, or just anything in mind. So what we're going to do next is that we're going to ask each other some questions that we're kind of curious about in terms of topics or interest or anything that we have. We're going to try to figure out exactly what the other person, knows about these things. And yeah, so I'll be the first one to go. So Diego, my good friend Diego, is a fucking genius at physics. He's an absolute, how should I say, hell of a being in physics knowledge. And I'm going to ask you this, Diego, because I don't fucking understand this. And I've been wondering this for a while. And I need you to clarify why this is impossible, all right? Let's say I'm on the rooftop, right?
Yeah.
I'm on a rooftop, right? And theoretically, you jump off the roof, right? You come crashing down. So this is a person. This is a little being, and he jumps off the roof. Now he falls, right? He falls, and he dies, whatever. Now let's say somehow, some way, he's on the roof, right? And he has some sort of a platform. I want to say like a desk or like a maybe like a hold on. maybe like a desk or like some sort of like something that he can hold on to that's strong enough that he can jump off from. So here's my thing. I've always wondered this. He's on the roof, right? He jumps off. He's holding the desk on him, and then before he hits, he jumps off that platform again. Now, I'm no genius, but I would think he wouldn't. Maybe he wouldn't die, but
it wouldn't hurt as bad. It wouldn't.
Yeah, it wouldn't because in my mind it's like he's jumping off and he can jump off, like build enough momentum to press off that platform, jump off again, and lessen the impact from the first fall. Now, understandably, he's going at a really, really fast pace. But my theory is, would that fly?
Where would that fly?
Yeah, no. I mean, like, would that work? Would that be reasonable?
So it depends.
Now, explain to me, Diego, why I'm full of shit.
But no, like this is a good idea. So what you're throwing at right here is something with conservation of momentum. When you're jumping with some object, whatever it is, if you throw the object, it has an equal and opposite reaction to you. So if you push an object, the object pushes back on you. So when you're jumping off of that table, it's pushing you in the other direction. So the acceleration you have because of gravity slows down. So that allows you to not have a strong impact in comparison to what you would normally have without the table.
Okay, but the thing is, you have to create enough force to jump off, right? Because otherwise, if you're just falling and you don't create enough force, you just come crashing down.
You need a significant amount, so it actually, but any amount of force you push will counter you slightly, so you won't feel as strong of an impact when you hit the ground.
See, Ozzy, I'm not crazy. I knew it.
So even like when you think about WWE or AEW with the tables and they smack people, they like throw them on the table.
Yeah.
The table actually works as a cushion because the table kind of pushes you on the other direction. So when it breaks and you fall down, you're not coming as fast down on the ground.
You're right.
So that actually, it might seem like, oh wow, the table hurt, but the table's actually a cushion.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So it's really interesting.
See, so I wasn't wrong. I knew I wasn't crazy. I'm more like, obviously, again, you need some sort of special, again, like counter force to jump off. Yeah. But my theory wasn't that far off. See, I know these things.
Good question.
I have a question for you.
Okay, and then I have one for Johnny. Go for it.
Okay, so I saw a movie a long time ago, a Disney movie, and at the end they go into a black hole and like it's hell. So I want to know what's inside of a black hole, and please tell me it's hell.
Hold on. When you say it's hell, you mean like flames and stuff?
Yeah, like in the end of the movie, like the bad guy, he goes into the black hole, and he's just like in the middle of a fucking like cliff.
You're talking about
like,
Event Horizon?
No, it was the Black Hole, I think it's called. It's a Disney movie.
So the Event Horizon is the point of no return. Like you're still not in the black hole, but you're in this point where like nothing's gonna come out.
I think you're talking about the movie, right? Event Horizon.
Yeah.
No, but it's really interesting.
Black hole, I think.
We still don't have the answers to that. Like we know what a black hole is, but we can't analyze what's inside of the event horizon of the black hole because if anyone goes in there, there's no way for them to come back. But there's always the theoretical aspect of it because of the way physics works. Like, hey, what can be there? And so it's a lot of speculation. People always talk about the singularity, but in reality, singularity doesn't really fit into the mold of math, of the mathematical function for a black hole. So it's so much guesswork. But I mean, essentially, a black hole is just a star that is really dense, that nothing can escape it. But I wish I had a real answer for you, Johnny. I mean,
let's go. Let's do it.
Like I explaining how you physically experience what's going on as you enter the event horizon, then get closer and closer to the black hole. That's all understood, but what physically is there? I imagine if there was another universe where like you go right through and it's like a wormhole and then it takes you to a different part of a different universe or the same universe or whatever.
So what you're saying is there could be potentially another podcast called Green Hoops on some different type of dimension.
Yeah, red hoops.
Possible.
everything's possible, Eddie. There's another guy, maybe not as handsome as you, Eddie, but like who's trying to do the same thing you are.
I mean, I ain't no George Clooney. I'll tell you that much.
Look guys up or what?
I have a question for Johnny. This is actually something I've been really like just interested because when I was my first year of college, I took a history class, and this class kind of went from early civilization all the way up to like 1000 AD, and we studied like how religion came about, how cultures came out, why things went the way they did. And one of the main topics to this class was how civilization started. And so there's a few theories behind it, and people try to establish like this one, like there's only one way that civilizations could have started. Johnny, do you think that the way civilization, like there's only one mold for how they started, or do you think like civilizations around the world could have started in different ways? I'm not sure. I'm sure you know way more about this than I do. I don't know if you can give me some insight.
I do think I think civilization started and stopped a couple of times, maybe in different parts of the world, and like, well, it depends on what people really consider civilization. I think it's when people the agricultural revolution, when people started learning how to make food. And so when you grew food, you had extra time, and that's when you had extra time on your hands. That's when you have time to think, and that's how the sciences and everything else grew out. Because before then, people spent most of their time hunting and trying to survive, and so everyone had to hunt and get meat and shit, and pick berries. But if you were able to plant stuff in the ground, it became more stable. Your bank of resources, your food. So when you became more stable, that's when civilizations arose over those like important areas. Usually there were like tributaries of like rivers and shit, or like by the coasts. So I think in some way or another, I think we're wired. It's not strictly historical, but like based on everything I've read, I think we're like wired at least to like have hierarchies, not hierarchies, but like to organize.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Yeah.
Isn't that a theory about how the pyramids got built? That there was this isolated civilization that is so advanced, but shit, how do I say it?
Ozzy, I mean, haven't you seen Yu-Gi-Oh? The pyramids were started by ancient.
That shit 100%.
Like by Pharaoh Yu-Gi-Oh?
The answer was duel monsters, Ozzy.
Yeah. Shit. You had to battle your
historical fact.
It was right in front of me. The whole time.
But some people say like the pyramids and the Sphinx are older than they were, but I forgot. I haven't looked too into it, but I know it's almost like a racist thing where it's pretty much people saying that they don't think black people could have done it, or African people could, so it had to be someone else. That's pretty much the gist of that kind of stuff.
Jumping on that a little bit, Johnny.
For other people than the Egyptians doing it.
Jumping on that a little bit, Johnny. The whole Egyptian thing. I know. There's a lot of like mythology or fascination with Egyptian old Egyptian way of life or culture or whatever. Is there any truth to that, or is it all just
truth to what do you mean?
Like the whole myth of like spiritual, mumbo jumbo or whatever. Like the whole cats being royal thing, the whole mummy thing, like. You know what I mean?
Like stuff, like super exaggerated. I don't know how like.
Yeah. Okay.
How pervasive that stuff was.
Okay.
Okay.
Like if they studied us and they thought like everyone was like back then. Right. It was just a small group of people, and back then maybe they were the only ones who left records.
40 years from now, it'd be like, hey guys, apparently there was this podcast called BlooHoops. So no one knows what it was, but apparently it was.
Apparently they're all gods.
Religious cult.
They were all worshipped as gods. Apparently.
Yeah. Especially that J guy, too delicious.
Oh man!
Now,
that betrayed Eddie.
Now, I had a question for Ozzy. Now, for those that don't know,
I think so.
Listen, Ozzy, I think you give the best life advice, man. Like serious shit. Like you're one of the few people I go to for life advice. So I wanted to ask you, everyone's in the whole quarantine thing. What would you recommend in terms of dating while in quarantine?
Oh, good question.
Dating in quarantine?
Yeah. A, good idea, B, bad idea,
I think it's a great idea.
what he said.
Of course it is. But wait. I thought we were.
Because you literally don't have to take her out because the restaurants are closed. So you just say, let's go for a walk. And that's simple. You don't have to waste money. It's free. So yeah, staying in quarantine is perfect.
You see? Yeah, I didn't. That's actually, yeah, I didn't think about that.
I saw on the commercials, people are doing like virtual dates and shit on those apps, and they order food like.
Oh yeah,
it's weird. I don't
Match.com.
get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this a virtual date? All four of us?
Hell yeah.
Are we all eating the same thing?
Hell yeah.
Hey, what the heck, man? Hook it up, dude. What the heck?
You know,
Here, I'll
Can we
feed
do the
you
stream?
guys
I
off.
just realized that's a. Dude, we have a lot of shoes, man. What the hell?
Oh, yeah.
I barely have 2 pairs.
I got like 4 pairs.
I know.
I have
My
like
goodness.
7.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
how
what's
about
up.
that?
Scarf.
And then below me, my ties.
Hell
Oh yeah. I dig that.
But
And the
I had to switch it up.
MJF scarf on the left.
oh yeah, I remember you freaking like picked it out, and you're like, wait a second, I know where that's from.
I can see that miles away.
No, dude,
Oh my goodness.
I had my desk around, so it was facing the wall. So then it was all like how your room is, Eddy and Ozzy. But I just didn't. I felt so claustrophobic, so I had to switch it around and just be behind and more space. I feel better. I don't know. It's weird. Space helps me out.
Yeah, totally agree.
But anyways, any other questions?
Concerns.
Not really.
Any questions? Just nah. I think
I have
we're good.
complaints, but that's about it.
Complain.
I think. Yeah, I think great job, guys. It was great having you guys again for this special episode. I wanted to mention that I don't think this is gonna be like a thing that we do consistently because man, we all have stuff to do. We all have our own situations, our own things that we need to get done. But at the same time, I just wanted to say thank you guys for taking time out of your busy schedules to do this. Again, this episode, by the way, is completely out of the blue. We had no intention. It's not like we fucking planned it like a week ago. This is literally like, hey guys, are you guys busy? Let's set up an episode. But with that being said, I think we did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of the blue from BlooHoops.
Out of the
Oh.
Oh yeah.
I like that. I'm gonna add that somewhere in the footnotes right there. But thank you guys everyone for tuning in. This has been the BlooHoops special. Again, the quarantine special, aka the riot special, aka the end of the world special. Again, I have been your host, Eddy. Across the sea of sand is my homeboy Ozzy. Down over there is my good friend Diego, and down below is Mr.X himself, Jay. But thank you. But thank you guys for tuning in. We hope to see you soon. And with that being said, peace out.
Bye, everyone.
Stay safe out there. Go on dates. Peace out, guys.